So, good evening to all our students and parents today. We are again another round of the webinars, and today we have Universita Cattolica, the Sacro, the Medical University, and today we have Miss Elizabeth Entire. She's the admission manager at the Rome campus. And we also have Miss Arina with us. She will also be assisting Miss Elizabeth. Of course, again, they are the main people at the university. And of course, people who have attended webinars, they must be by now knowing me. But again, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Pranali Damankar, and I'm the director at Gyanberry, and I will also be hosting today's webinar like the others which I have done. So just to tell all of you that we celebrate 5 years partnership with the university. So Gyanberry feels very proud to have Universita Cattolica with us for the last 5 years. And now it's going to be moving on to the 6th year. So we feel very proud and we feel very established because, uh, the whole reason for us are the students. And so far, like just to count, I think we've sent almost 100 plus, right, Raina? I mean, we keeping in mind the 5 years, so we've had students join, at least 100 students in Cattolica. In fact, I would say plus. But keeping in mind the last year, I think we had what 50 students worldwide,
Yes.
as per the numbers. But out of which 17 students were only the Gyanberry students who passed the exam from UAE. And the best part about is that the first two toppers were of the medical entrance exam worldwide were Gyanberry students. And I have mentioned their name. So we have Sami Abu Chakra, who is from International School of Shuaifat, Abu Dhabi. He topped the first ranked in the entrance exam, and he has already joined the university. So feels very proud the fact that they are our students who have joined the university. We also have Anmol Suri from India, who topped number 2, the entrance exam. So that brings us to we as Gyanberry, what we do on behalf of the university for our students or students who come and want to take our assistance. So we have one-on-one personalized assistance and guidance throughout the admission process, which we always give to our students. Our assistance is free of charge because they are our partner university, and we don't charge our students. Of course, the students have to pay for the exam and the application fee. uh, we also help students with our customized preparation material for the entrance exam. Uh, Earlier, I think before the pandemic, it used to be on ground. Due to pandemic, we've shifted to the online. So what we've done is we help students giving them preparation material. We also have something called a super mentor, which I'm sure a lot of students must have visited our website. We have a product called Super Mentor, which is nothing but one-on-one mentoring from the senior students of the university. This product we have introduced only for our students who are looking forward to connect with the existing students of the university, so that they could get pure, complete information from the horse's mouth rather than the university and Gyanberry, and which will of course make their lives simpler, so that they could get attention in terms of what information they want to have. And of course, 100% visa success rate, that is only because these students have joined the university. So taking it forward from here, the whole presentation, the whole agenda of the presentation is going to be of 60 minutes, out of which the presentation will be for 30 minutes, followed by the Q&A, which is going to be 25 minutes. So here I hand over the entire presentation for the university to begin. And over to you, Elizabeth.
Had to put my mic back on. Thank you so much, Pranali, for this wonderful introduction. Have I started sharing my screen already? Can you see it?
Yes,
Okay,
Sadie, you did.
So I'm really excited because that I had a chance to actually visit the Gyanberry team in Dubai a couple years ago, right before the pandemic hit. It was one of my last trips, and had a wonderful time at the fair and meeting students. And so I feel very honored to be here today to be talking to a new audience, but with the same team and the same partner. And as Pranali mentioned, and I will talk a little bit more about this towards the end of the presentation. We've had great success with the medicine and surgery program in particular. My name is Elizabeth, as we've said already, but I'm working on the Rome campus. So I'm the person who is, let's say, the expert, quote unquote, in the administrative staff about the student experience in Rome for the medicine and surgery program. I work specifically with students from healthcare fields, from anything from medicine to nursing to healthcare management, because our Rome campus is focused on our faculty of medicine, and we have a faculty of economics as well. But all of our economics courses that are taught on the Rome campus are about managing healthcare systems. So I'm really happy to be able to share with you specific information about how to apply to the MD program. um, to start, if I can get it to move forward, I will talk to you for now a little bit about why it's interesting to study in Italy. Why should you choose Italy as a place to study medicine specifically or healthcare? I know that probably everyone has thought about other reasons to come to Italy. Stereotypically, we all know that if you want to visit Rome or you want to come to Italy, there are some beautiful sights to see, a lot of history, plenty of great food, and many beautiful landscapes as well. Fashion, we're pretty well known around the world for our fashion, shopping as well. But I'm not sure if you knew that Italy is a leader in healthcare and a leader in clinical um, services, in clinical care and clinical treatments. And we are also a leader in medical research publications. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about this because I think that this is a really important thing to take into consideration, especially if you are looking at universities abroad around the world, because Italy has been consistently ranked one of the healthiest countries on earth. So you'll see that here listed as number 2, but I usually like to put it out as number 1 when I'm starting to tell you about Italy's healthcare processes, because this is significant. It encompasses a number of factors that show the excellence that we have as far as medicine is concerned and as far as healthcare is concerned. And obviously, in order to achieve these type of rankings, it means that our academic system is preparing our healthcare professionals to deliver a service that is world renowned. So why are we considered one of the healthiest countries on earth? Because we are also one of the most efficient healthcare systems in the world. So there's a few factors that they take into consideration. And here you will see that we are quoting the Bloomberg Global Health Index. But if you look up also the World Health Organization, you can see that we rank very highly by the World Health Organization as well. Their ranking and statistics are a little bit more complicated to read and to look into, but one of the things they highlight about Italy is that we have a great life expectancy. We have very low risk factors as far as reasons that people would perhaps pass away earlier than expected. I think we have the second highest life expectancy rate in the world, for sure in Europe. But one of the other things that makes us one of the healthiest countries on earth is the fact that we offer care, access to care for all people. So it is a national healthcare system that anyone can access. So even if you come as a tourist and you're not actually a part of our community, no matter what, you will be able to receive treatment if anything happens to you in Italy. And this is something that gives us a lot of clout in the world of medicine, because to be able to deliver such quality of care to as many people as we do, They also take a look at how much we spend, and we are one of the most efficient, not only in Europe, we have been ranked #1, but around the world as well. We rank very highly as far as the cost benefit analysis for the number of people we treat and how much we spend on healthcare. Another thing that you might not know, but the Italian community in general is very low as far as death rates for preventable diseases. So this is something that helps us to get into the World Health Organization's top list, because we are providing preventative care. It also means that the community is accessing our services. So we have services available, but people are also informed and they're utilizing those services because that we are able to prevent illness. And then we are ranked also quite highly for being able to cure preventable diseases as well. So this is really, really something important to take into consideration, because it means that what we're doing is working. So it's not only just me telling you Italy is a wonderful country to come study medicine, come see us in Rome. No, actually, you can see for yourself. You can go out there, you can check the rankings, you can check the statistics and the reports if you have the patience to do that. So I've just summarized them for you here in case you don't want to read all that information. Another thing that I like to talk about is the affordable costs for our tuition fees for the number of services that we do provide. If you look at it from a global perspective, our fees are really quite reasonable. And one of my favorite things is definitely our 6-year duration for the program. What happens in Italy is that if you leave and you finish your secondary school, higher secondary school, high school, however you want to call it, once you enter the university, if you're interested in studying medicine, you can get started at the medical school right away. So probably many of you in the audience right now are finishing up high school and you're going to apply to our program. The reason I like to highlight this here is because that not all systems around the world are like this, and some places will have you do an undergraduate program first, and then you will have to apply to the medical school, and there's a lot of standardized examinations and grades and concerns to think about as you're moving forward. If you know that you want to be a doctor and you've been dreaming about studying medicine for your whole life, or even just the past 2-3 months, maybe even just yesterday you decided that's what I want to do, if you're going to come to join our program, you will be able to get into the material that you're interested in studying right away. And you're also doing it at a world-renowned medical school. You're not going to be entering a liberal arts or an undergraduate program. You're doing it at our Faculty of Medicine. So the quality of the teaching and the academic excellence is very high, and it's really putting you right into what you're already interested in. So you're not going to have to spend time doing other things or studying something else. And why I think it's a great benefit is because that you can really focus on what you want to achieve. Because once you get started with us, you don't have to worry about ever applying again somewhere else. You don't have to worry about some extra standardized examinations that you're going to have to take. These are things that maybe you will do in order to practice if you decide you're going to leave Italy later. Let's say USMLEs is something that a lot of our students like to do, but you don't have to do any of these examinations in order to receive your medical doctorate. So it takes a lot of pressure off of the expectations and puts more priority on learning. This is something I think is a great benefit that you can find pretty much many, maybe also in other European contexts, but in Italy, it is one of our priorities. We want you to succeed, so you need to succeed how you can succeed, and it's up to each student to focus on their own learning processes, and then you need to do our curriculum and get through our examinations, and as long as you make it to the end of the expectations that we lay out for you, you will receive a doctorate in medicine. The other thing that's nice, in my opinion, about being in one location for the entirety of your study is because you will get used to this location in the beginning. So I'm talking to people who are coming from abroad. When we change academic systems, we change our cultural understandings, we change where we are living. It's a new experience and it takes some adjustment. And we know this at Cattolica. I will explain to you how we will help you through all of the steps that you might go through in order to become a comfortable member of our community. But if you're going to enter into our medical program, you have to go through these kind of sticky steps of figuring out how to navigate life at the same time that you're starting one of the hardest programs academically in the world. So if you're doing this in the first year of your study, it's really nice that by the time you get to the fourth or the fifth or the sixth year, when you're doing the clinical, you're getting into the really difficult part of the program, you're already familiar with everything on campus. You're familiar with the professors, you're familiar with your community, and you're familiar with the expectations, both from the academic standpoint and from a cultural standpoint. So this is something I like to really highlight now, because I do think that it is worth considering the fact that you will be able to go through these processes in a very comfortable way that also works for you, and you will know the expectations from day one until the end. You're going to figure it out and you're not going to have to change that. So this is something I think is a great benefit when you're looking at pros and cons of studying in one location versus another. And then the last thing that I highlight here about Italy is that we know for sure we are going to need some doctors soon. We are going to need more medical professionals. We're going to need more researchers. We know that right now we are entering into a period where this is something that our community needs. The pandemic has even highlighted more that we will probably need assistance in this area, because everyone has been a little bit overwhelmed and overworked. So why am I telling you this? Because if you're coming to Italy to study and you're interested in staying here after you complete your education, we would like you to do that. And Italy makes it easy for people to stay. It's not that hard for you to transfer your permit to stay from a student to being a professional, and you will be automatically qualified to apply for residency programs in Italy right after you're done with our degree program. So Italy is happy to share our academic excellence and our knowledge about the medical field with students. If you decide to take that somewhere else, it's fine, but we'll also welcome you and be more than happy to have you stay here to start your career or start your residency specialization studies after you finish our degree. So not always the case in other contexts. This is something I like you to know right up front. You can come study, and you can also hopefully fall in love with the culture and the country and stay here and work. So now that we know some great reasons to study medicine in Italy, I like to bring up a few fun facts, let's say, that my colleagues in Milan actually put together this slide, because I think they received many questions about these topics here. So a few of them are true and some of them are not. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, since probably we can't have everyone turn on their mic and let me know which one you think is true or not. But I will give you the answers now. So, do you need to know Italian to come to Italy and study? The answer is no, but my recommendation is that you be ready to learn when you get here. So our program is taught entirely in English. If you are going to apply for the medicine and surgery degree program at Cattolica, you do not need to know even how to say ciao in order to come to campus and start your course. But you do need to be ready to be in a location where everyone around you is speaking Italian. So if you don't understand the language, sometimes this is uncomfortable or confusing. I know it seems obvious, but many students kind of bump into this thinking, oh, I thought that I would be able to speak English everywhere I go. No, you won't be able to speak English everywhere you go. You will find a lot of people who try to speak English with you, but you might not understand them. But one thing Italians are very good about, especially in Rome, is making you understand what they're saying. So you will be able to communicate. It is a fun, friendly, and it is a welcoming environment. You don't need the Italian to get started, but make sure you're ready to learn. I will talk a little bit more about this later as well, because that you will want to know Italian for sure by the time you get to the fourth year of your program, because that's when you enter the clinical phase and you're going to be in the hospital. So the second question here is studying in Italy expensive? Personally, I don't think so. And since many of you are coming from a context where I believe that you can find a lot of more expensive educational options, I would say that Italy is definitely a great place to go. Convenient economically, and the cost of living is quite nice for all that Rome has to offer. Is it difficult to access as a non-EU student? This is a kind of tricky question. So no, actually for our medical program, we have specific processes and procedures and places in the program for our non-EU students. So we are making it as easy as possible. The one thing that might be a bit difficult is that the visa process depends on individual factors. So this is something that we can't predict, but we have Gyanberry and we have our team that helps you to get through all of the visa processes. Once you get here, you have access to every single service that an EU student would be able to use. So this is something really interesting to consider, because before I was telling you about our public healthcare system, you can use our public healthcare system here for just 150 euro, a little less, but it's a weird amount. So a year. That is how much I would pay as a US citizen for just 1 month of health insurance in the United States, and it wouldn't cover nearly as much as what the National Healthcare Service covers here. So just remember that once you have your permit to stay as a student, you become a resident of the EU and you have all of the rights and the access to many of the services that the EU students have as well. So the last 2 points here are actually the true parts of my slide. There is no unified application process or cost for Italian education, Italian universities or medical programs. So please keep this in mind, and this is one of the reasons that you're going to want to talk to Gyanberry and Pranali's team, because they can help you understand how to navigate these processes. Today, I'm going to tell you how to apply to Universita Cattolica, and just keep in mind, this is valid only for us, only for our university, and only for our medical program specifically. So does location make a difference? Yes, location makes a big difference, not only around the world, but also in Italy. So why would you want to come to where Università Cattolica is? I think I'm a little bit biased since I've been living in Rome for 12 years, but I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So why not come to Rome to study medicine? We have a wonderful cultural environment. There are so many things that you could do, that you can see, that you can learn. So if you want to have a break from your studies, because we know medical students study hard, all you have to do is take a train, 2 stops, 3 stops down. You get in the middle of downtown and you can walk around and just bump into beautiful sites, wonderful restaurants, places where you can stop for an aperitivo or a coffee. Many poets and philosophers and artists and filmmakers have been inspired by Rome. So I hope that you will also find it to be an amazing city where you can come and live for 6 years and maybe stay even after that. Something else that I do like to mention about Rome as a location is that we are the capital of Italy. We are also a center which has many UN organizations. So this is something wonderful to take into consideration if you're studying medicine, because a lot of activity takes place here about global health policy, international conferences, all sorts of research projects are happening as well. So this is really a benefit to you that maybe people don't think about all the time, because you're going, I'm going to study, I want to be a neurologist. But the neurologist has to act inside of a larger global community. And the COVID-19 pandemic has really shown us how this all works. You need to be connected to the ministry, the government, the policy. You need to be connected to other healthcare professionals around the world. And Rome is a location where these type of conversations and activities are actually happening, and they're happening in our university hospital as well. So our location, I think, is extremely important, not only for your academics, not only for your social life, but also for maybe international and global connections that you might need to use later on. So I know that I was also interested in having you, I think that Ariana is, I was hoping to have you speak to one of our students as well. I don't know if she has been able
Let
to
me check,
connect
Haley.
yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this part of the presentation, I was hoping to introduce one of our students so she can also tell you a little bit about Rome. I know that I'm like 2 minutes early, I think, because she's just finishing her class right now and she has a break. So she set aside a few minutes to talk to us.
She
So
will join in less than 10 minutes, Elizabeth.
okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do then is I'll move on because I want her also to talk to you. I wanted her to jump in right now because that I want her to tell you a little bit about her own experience in Rome. But what I will do is I will just move forward for a second in order to talk to you a little bit about our student services, because she will explain some of the student life elements on campuses. She will talk to you about what it's like to be a student at Cattolica and why she chose to come here. And then she will also help me to understand from a student perspective some of the services that we offer that might make our university advantageous location over other institutions. But I will give you some information that you can understand about our services that we offer, especially for international students, because I think this is one of the reasons that could be good to pick Cattolica over other universities in Italy. Can I compete worldwide about customer service? I'm going to say no. I don't want to lie to anyone or be surprising. I am a US citizen. I come from the United States originally. And I will tell you that sometimes it's very difficult to understand the customer service aspects that you will encounter in Italy. And I'll give you reasons why. It's because that actually the university is not considered a service for the student, but it is a right for every citizen. So it is not a that the student is a customer purchasing a service. Rather, we are an institution that you have access to. So it's a little bit of a different philosophy, and Cattolica tries to meet in the middle. So with the resources that we have available, we are trying to give as many services as we possibly can. And I can guarantee you that as far as our local competition is concerned, we are definitely leading in the area of student services. So one of the things that we do really, really well is that we are helping our international students to get from home here, starting from the visa process into orientation week. So what we do is we are going to help you with the application. Pranali and her team also is going to help you through each of these steps, and we're going to give them the tools that they need in order to help you. And you're going to have answers to all your questions as we go through the visa process. After you get to the university, we're going to host an orientation, and we are going to explain to you exactly what the expectations are as far as academics are concerned, as far as navigating your student career. So how do you register for an exam? How do you go about getting set up with your student account online? Where can you find your bill? How can you pay your tuition fee? All of these types of questions are things that you will need to know as soon as you get to campus, and we're going to give you an overview of all of the services and all of the expectations as soon as you arrive. And then our goal is to give you the tools that you need in order for you to move forward on your own. So we're not going to hold your hand through the whole 6 years, but we want to make sure that you have access to the information in a language that you understand. So you will see that everything that we do for our students should be available also in English. Like I said before, you don't have to know Italian in order to follow your academic career. We have English speaking professionals on campus as well. And we will also give you points of contact for times that things are a bit confusing. So our goal is to give you as many tools as we can for you to be able to then navigate things on your own. And what I always tell students is that you might have a question that I don't know the answer to, but I will help you to get access to the person who does. So this is kind of our philosophy in general. You have places that you can go for information, and we will try to make sure that you can use that information effectively in order to get whatever you need to get done. We have an international student center in the hospital too, and I think this is something that really sets us apart from other institutions. We have decided that since the clinical experience is so intense and your coursework becomes very heavy at that time, we opened up an office that's specifically dedicated to the medicine and surgery students, so that if you need anything academically, you have to ask a question about, your courses, your tuition fees, anything you're wondering, oh, there was an event that we got invited to as students, but I can't find the email. really anything that you need to ask, you can go to this office that's located right inside the hospital, because your classes and your clinical rotations will also be in the hospital. So there is a medicine and surgery hub, we call it, where you can go and you can get some assistance and some help, and you don't even have to walk back to campus, which isn't very far away. So I think these are some of the things we're trying to do just to make the student's life easier, and to make sure that you understand how to navigate both physically and academically the expectations on our campus. One other thing that I think is worth mentioning are the accommodations, because in order to get your student visa, you will need proof of housing. So our institution has set up a special application process and procedure for the medicine and surgery students who will apply earlier than any other students, because our international students need to know if they have housing or not before they apply for their visa. So we are doing this very well for Italian context. You will be able to use our accommodations if you want to. I know that Sylvia, if she's able to connect, lives in our accommodations, so she might even be able to tell you a little bit about the experience for that. And the last thing that I'll mention now is the language support, because I told you before that you will want to know the Italian language at some point. So two things that I like to mention here is that we have a language center. So if you want to learn another language, study something else, a new language, or continue studying a language that maybe you studied already, you will be able to do that. But also you should know that we have Italian language courses on our curriculum. So the faculty understands that it's important for you to learn the Italian language and has set aside 2 dedicated moments when that will be part of your academic experience. It's really hard to fit something like that into a medical curriculum. So this means that the faculty is invested in your success, because they are going to give you Italian language course expectations in year 1 and in year 3 of the program, so that hopefully by the time you get to year 4, you've been able to really get an understanding of the language, so that you can go into the hospital and understand what's going on with the patients, when the doctors are speaking with the nurses, when the families have questions. So Universita Cattolica is committed to helping you achieve the objectives you need to achieve in order to succeed in our program. I'm going to keep going if it's okay, Ariana.
Yeah. While we wait for Celia, she's almost here.
So I want to tell you now, I also don't know why I didn't see the picture of her, but the slide looked like it was missing, but I wanted to let you know, we talked about why you should study medicine in Italy, why Rome is a great location. So now why Cattolica? First of all, I think if you're coming to an academic program, the most important thing is the academic content. So Cattolica has been ranked one of the top 150 universities for medicine all across the world by QS World Rankings. And this is something we're really proud of. And it's because that we have a great faculty. So our academic excellence has been recognized. It's not, like I said before, me telling you this. This is something that has been recognized, many different rankings across the world. And the QS World Rankings is one that's very well known. So we like to highlight that here. So how did we achieve that? Because our faculty, they are leading in their field. They are experts in their field. They're not just professors who are teaching you about the basic concepts that you need in order to become a doctor. They are doctors themselves, and they are working right now in our hospital. They are putting out research. They are bringing their experience into the classroom. So you will be starting right from year 1, understanding the connections between the theoretical concepts and the scientific concepts that you're learning in the classroom and the laboratory into how that plays out practically in the field, because the professors are going to be bringing their experiences with them into your education. Something else that I really think is interesting about Cattolica is that we opened our English Talk program with the intention to create sort of a hybrid experience as far as the curriculum and the teaching methodology is concerned. So Italy has been leading in healthcare and leading in medical education for many, many years, but our academic style is quite different than some other locations, which are also our competitors on a global scale. So I'm thinking about the US and the UK, who have a different approach to learning both scientifically and academically, but more specifically in the classroom. So Italian context, there's a lot of lecturing. There's a lot of the professor kind of giving you information. You have to absorb, interpret, understand, dissect all that information on your own, and then present at the exam that you know this information. There will be oral examinations and the professors are going to ask you questions that you might not know. When you go into the examination, what are they going to ask me? This is something that I think it's one of the things that is most difficult for international students who come from a different type of academic study to adjust to, but it is one of the most important things we do, because in order to be successful in your career later on and just life in general, you're going to need to be able to navigate the unknown and expect the unexpected. So we're not maybe giving you like, here's the outline of the exam, study these 10 concepts, you will be asked 5 questions on this. No, you will probably have to listen and absorb and understand a lot of information, and the professor might ask you anything. This is something that's really important for your future. Also, doing it orally is a very, very, very Italian style, which we are really proud of, because guess what? You're going to have to think on your feet. You're going to have to articulate your knowledge like that in the future. You don't have a lot of time to figure out how to say things perfectly in the middle of this diagnosis, choose the treatment, explain the treatment to the patient, to the family, to the nurses, to whoever else you are working with. So these teaching methods are going to prepare you to succeed. But we also understand that there's a reason that some of these other universities and other ways of thinking have been also ranked very highly in the world and recognized as being quality type of education. So we are bringing into the medicine and surgery program some problem-based learning. We want to have also the written examinations and teamwork. You're going to work in groups. You're going to also have some activities that might be unrelated to typical academic medical field. Watch a movie and then understand, how does this movie portray certain things. So all of these kind of elements that we're bringing in, it makes this program unique, both for Cattolica and for Italy for sure, but also worldwide, because we're trying to give you a hybrid best of both worlds to bring in other types of teaching and to really enhance your critical thinking skills and to really, really highlight the application of the theory to the practice. So we're going to be giving you this information at Cattolica. And I think this is unique to Cattolica as well. So earlier, I kind of talked a little bit about the fact that you're going to have a nice community here. We are studying only medicine, but you're going to be a part of a community that is very small, but not too small. So this is one of the biggest benefits I think that we have on Cattolica's campus, is that 80 students each year in the class means that you're going to be able to be learning from each other. You're going to be able to make connections with your classmates and definitely make connections with your teacher, because our faculty to student ratio is very low. Well, good. I don't know if I'm using the right term, but with only 80 students, you're not going to get lost in the crowd. Also, having 50 of those students be from non-EU background and 30 from an EU background, but that means any country in the EU, it's a really nice intercultural community. So you can learn from other people's perspective. You can see things from a different way of, like, let's say, to solve the same problem from a different angle. And this is something that we are really proud of, having been able to establish such a nice—
Elizabeth, sorry, just interrupt you to tell you that Silvia is here with us.
Yay. Well, Sylvia is here at exactly the right time, because I was just talking about the community and the academic, the size, the class size, and the student to faculty ratio. I don't know if Sylvia can hear me, because I don't see her. So can we hear Sylvia?
I can hear you.
Hi, Sylvia. How are you?
Hi there.
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I was just telling everyone about our class size and highlighting the fact that I think the class size is very advantageous and a good reason to choose Cattolica. So it would be great because that you could definitely jump in now. I was just curious because I don't see what happened to your slide for some reason. So
I
I
believe
wanted
it is Nascosta, Elizabeth, in your presentation. That's why you don't see it. That's why you're not projecting it. But Silvia, if you want to turn on your camera, you can do that. If you don't want, it's just fine.
So we can I'll let oh, hi, Sylvia.
Hello.
Great. Well, I will let you jump in. I don't know why your slide got hidden, but I wanted to maybe let you talk for a few minutes about how you think, if you agree with me, for example, that the class size on our campus is advantageous for you and you've been able to make connections with your classmates and learn in a multicultural environment.
Yeah, so hi everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sylvia and I am a fourth year student of medicine and surgery. And as Elizabeth has mentioned, I just hopped in by the end there, but the class size being very well mixed, considering that it is a majority of international students. However, you are studying in an Italian university where there are Italian programs, which are comprised of mostly Italian students. You will, it's a very good mix, I would say. You will meet people from all over the world. Your classmates will come from all over the world. You will have great discussions. You will have amazing, it's just very diverse. You have all sorts of nationalities, religions, cultures coming together, and all of them just colliding in this one place where everyone wants to study medicine. So Elizabeth, would you like me to continue with my presentation, or would you?
Can go ahead because that I know you also have limited time. So you can just go ahead and tell us, share a little bit about your own experience. Since I've apparently hidden your picture, but we have your face anyway. I will leave this slide up, the student services, and if you want me to look at and put any other slides, you can just let me know.
Okay, so I would say the major perk of this program would be, apart from obviously the diverse environment you'll be in, is that you are getting a European diploma from European Union, which is recognized in most parts of the world. You will be studying, it's one of the very limited medicine programs in Europe that are offered in English. And the biggest advantage, in my opinion, is the hospital that you will be studying at. You won't start your hospital rounds up until your third or fourth year. However, it is the biggest perk, in my opinion, as it is the second largest hospital in Italy. It is ranked one of the best hospitals in Italy. It's a leader in various treatments for diseases such as colorectal tumors, transplants, metabolic illnesses, endocrine diseases. I believe it also has the lowest cardiac surgery fatality in Italy. And a lot of people, a lot of famous people have been to the hospital, such as most recently Pope Francis, but so has Pope John Paul II, Mother Teresa, and Stephen Hawking. So the life of an international student is a very unique experience. You will be studying in Rome, which is the capital of Italy, which has a lot of advantages to itself. As you are in the capital, you are in the place where your embassy will be most likely you will have an embassy in Rome. So your embassy is located in Rome. Anything you need regarding your country's embassy's documents, you can access here from Rome. It is the capital of Italy, and it's very well connected to the rest of the world. I believe it has the most airline destinations in Italy. Perhaps the second one is Milan. And I'm sure you guys have heard that Rome is the eternal city. It is a very old city, and everywhere you go, you will find something to do. It's a capital city. It's amazing. It's a major metropolitan city of around 2 million inhabitants. And every single day, there are people commuting here for work. There are plenty of tourists. There are plenty of people here on business trips. So there is always a good, large amount, a big mix of people coming here. And you will meet a lot of interesting people here. Now, the one thing as an international student that you will not be a big fan of is probably the bureaucracy, which you will face no matter where you are as an international student. Just the paperwork and the documentation you will have to get to even be able to get this opportunity is something that is very frustrating at times, but I believe that it is well worth it. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have any idea of what you would like to do after you graduate, but there are very good, there are good opportunities here in Rome, especially as you start to get into your hospital rotations and you meet the doctors you will be shadowing. They can offer you very good advice. They can help you as you get into your 6th year. Obviously, they will help you with your thesis, and you can get really good advice on what to do after if you aren't really sure what you want to specialize in, for example. And
Sylvia,
especially,
sorry, I wanted to ask you actually about that, just because that something I was mentioning before is also the faculty to student ratio, and now you're saying that you're able to get advice from the doctors that you're shadowing. So do you find that the community here is very open to guiding you, teaching you, you feel that you're able to make these personal connections as well with the faculty and with the other people in the hospital once you're out there?
yes, definitely. So the doctors in particular are always very very welcoming, and they will even give you chances to come outside of your class hours, outside of your hospital rounds, to come and shadow them, to overlook surgeries or their patient visits or whatever it may be. A lot of the doctors are very welcoming, and they will guide you on your way if you know you want to do something very specific in particular. They're very happy to hear that, and they will guide you. Now, of course, before you start your hospital rounds, you will deal with your professors who are a bit busier. I mean, not busier in the sense that doctors aren't busy. They are very busy, but they deal with less students, that is. And every time there is a student who is very interested in their subject, they're very happy to help. Now, the regular Institute of Biology faculty members, they're also very helpful when it comes to exams, but do keep in mind that they sort of have a larger student load to deal with. So one other thing I would like to mention is that if you want to come and study here, that is, you will learn Italian, which you will have to eventually, since you will be dealing with patients who will only be speaking Italian, which Italian is not a very hard language to learn because there are a lot of online resources. Even if you just start Duolingo, if you're sure you want to attend a university in Italy, you will have you will have a lot of resources available to you to start learning Italian early. And as well, I just wanted to mention that Italian is a very useful language to learn if you're traveling across Europe, or if you're planning on staying in Europe, as it is one of the Romance languages. And if you want to even learn some other languages, such as Spanish or Portuguese or French, you will also be able to learn much easier if you speak Italian. Now, the one thing that I really want to leave you with before, I don't know if there will be any questions or anything, but the one thing that I do want to tell you as a piece of friendly advice from a student to a future student is that, apart from the regular advice you will always hear from medical students, which is be consistent. You will I would like to tell you guys to drop the shyness. I know a lot of students, a lot of high school students right now who want to study medicine are a bit shy, a bit reserved, but that is not something that is really, that is something that you will have to work on in getting into medicine, because you will have to talk to patients who are complete strangers, deliver good news, deliver bad news, and just be able to have an open communication with your patients, with your colleagues, with the nurses, with your professors, with your doctors, whatever it is. So just be more social, be more open, and drop the shyness, that is.
I have a
So
weird question. This is a great piece of advice, and also unexpected, at least for me, who's not thinking about studying medicine, but trying to help others who are dreaming of that. This kind of connects to something I was talking about before. Do you think that the teaching methods on our campus were helpful to help students get out of that comfort zone? I mean, maybe it's scary at first if you're shy, but do you think that the oral examinations that you're expected to do and some of the work that you've been doing in the classroom can help you to hurdle that barrier if it's something that someone has? Would you say that can you see this happening on campus?
I can definitely see that happening now. Different professors have different approaches, different methods, some more conventional than others. But there are a lot of professors who will organize group work in a sense that you will never end up with someone you know in the same group. So you will always be placed with someone totally different, and you will have to finish your a little presentation or project within an hour or 45 minutes. And that is something that I noticed has helped people get closer a lot in my class in particular. And as well as the entire hospital rotation thing, that is just something that you will be thrown into, and you will have to sort of fend for yourself and learn how to communicate there. So before you get thrown into a situation you might be uncomfortable in, I would really say just talk to people, work on your social skills. The university, the classes does help a little bit with it, especially with the oral examinations, which you may have in the first year. And I don't believe you will have them afterwards, but I know in first year, definitely you have some oral exams, which if you haven't been, which I think are very common in Europe, but outside of Europe, they aren't. So you will have to learn how to put your ideas and your answers into cohesive sentences and statements, and be able to talk about a concept for a long time going on. Yeah.
That's really helpful, and it's wonderful to hear from a student just to get that firsthand knowledge. So I thank you so much, because I know that just like the professors, you're very busy too. So we really appreciate that you took the time to share this with us. And I will just ask you one more thing, because I was just curious, what is your favorite thing about studying at Cattolica? Now that you've been here for 4 years, what is it that kind of keeps you going or keeps you coming back?
Oh, I definitely think that it's always about the people. It's about the people you meet. It's, I mean, medicine is a very social sort of study, I would say. It's all about the people. So it really is the different people that you meet, the different friends you make, and obviously the different professors, which some of them you will like and some of them you may not like that much, but some of them really make it worth it.
That's great. Ariana, did you have anything else that we should steal gems of knowledge from Sylvia, or should we let her go?
No, I think we should let her go. But thank you again, Sylvia. Really, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
for having me.
really made our day today, because it was lovely to hear from you.
That's true. And enjoy the rest of your day in Rome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. Ciao, Sylvia.
Bye.
Well, we are very happy to have had Sylvia come to give you some firsthand knowledge about the student's perspective, and I'm thrilled because she used all sorts of medical terminology that I don't know. So this is great. I don't think that I have to say too much more, honestly, because that she did cover a lot of the things that I would have told you about the hospital specifically. But I do just want to end this part of the presentation highlighting the hospital, because when you're studying medicine, of course, everyone thinks, I'm going to go to a medical school, and you're like, okay, we're going to end up studying in the hospital, but not all universities have their own hospital. And Universita Cattolica does have its own hospital. And as Sylvia said, we are one of the best hospitals in Italy, and we are the second largest hospital in Italy. And we are one of the only hospitals that is a public-private partnership. So this is something also to take into consideration, because obviously you want the clinical skills, the scientific knowledge, and the academic excellence. We have those three things. But then once you go out into the hospital experience, the clinical experience, even if you decide to just be a general practitioner, and I don't mean just, but let's say your next step after graduating is to be a general practitioner where you manage your own business, you're going to have to understand certain aspects of how to handle managerial processes as well. So also we're talking about insurance, we're talking about policy, public health services, and how all of that works with the governing bodies that are over you. This is something that Cattolica definitely has that other people do not, is that you are part of a public hospital that also has a private sector. So our doctors can see patients through the public system. We have an emergency room that's connected to the national healthcare system. We do transplant surgeries through the national healthcare system, but we also have access. Our patients can come make an appointment through the private side. So this is something that you get to see. Again, I like to say this best of both worlds thing. You get to see both of these things at Policlinico Gemelli, and it is not so easy to find that type of environment just anywhere. So another good reason that our hospital is something to take into consideration when you're weighing the pros and cons of where to go. Sorry, turned off my mic instead of changing my slide. So talking about public and private partnerships, our tuition fees are going to be a little bit more than you might find at a public institution in Italy, but I've already given you a number of reasons why it's advantageous to study with us as opposed to a public institution. And I will highlight one more time what Sylvia just said, because these personal connections are something that we definitely can offer you. And if you're going to another institution that's much larger than ours, you might get lost in the crowd. So I'm really happy about the fact that she also confirmed that the community at Cattolica is something worth paying for, let's say, because we're talking about the tuition fees now. For non-EU students, we have a flat annual fee of €15,800. Please keep in mind that this is based on our current fees. Every once in a while they change, so don't come back and say, Elizabeth promised me. It could change. It doesn't usually happen, but this is what we've been charging for the past few years. If you happen to have an EU earned income, because I know that maybe some people are dual citizens, or maybe they have a parent who lives in the EU or works with a company there, just know that you do have an opportunity to declare your income if your income is earned and you pay taxes in the EU. And that's why you see that there's this range, because once you get to campus, you have the opportunity to talk to our tuition and fees office, and they will help you to present the documentation that Sylvia was talking about, and you will be able to get an income based tuition fee quote. So that's the two differences, but I think that probably the audience today, most of you will be looking at the 15,800. And for the cost of living, I really think this is amazing, because as Sylvia was saying, you're in the capital of Italy. It's in the middle of Europe. You have access to so many things, and the cost of living is really not that bad. To 10,000 to 12,000 a year, you should be able to get by. If any of you out there are planning on buying Gucci bags or going shopping via Condotti, please bring more than this, but you can get by for not that lot in Italy. So now that everybody thinks this is a great idea, I just wanted to let you know the most important part of the presentation, how to apply to the program. So first of all, I know that we're running short on time, so I'm going to try to be fast here. So I'm going to mention that if you have any questions about all of this process, this is what Pranali and her team are there for. They know it by heart. They've got it down. We've been doing it for 5 years, so they can help you. If I talk too fast and you say, what was she talking about? Make sure that you follow up with Gyanberry, and they're going to walk you through it step by step. So what you have to do in order to get into our program is take an entrance exam. This is extremely important that you understand. It is only the entrance exam score that we look at. And I'm going to tell you why, because sometimes people wonder, how come we're not asking for any other grades, GPAs? Did you study biology? No, for us, we just need to know you passed your high school. You have a degree from a high school system that is recognized in Italy. So I know a lot of you might be doing the CBSE program, for example. That's perfectly fine. Maybe many of you are doing American high school. If you're in a US system, we need 3 advanced placement credits in order for you to be able to enroll. So I can't go over all of the entrance requirements of what high school degrees are accepted. So Pranali will help you with that, and I'm here to help too if Pranali has questions. If you have questions, our team can help you know if your high school curriculum is valid. But we're not looking at the grades because we want all students to have an opportunity to study. So we're going to base everyone on one criteria. So no matter what system you're studying from, no matter what cultural background you come from, everything is very diverse. So our program is going to judge everyone on the same criteria. It's standardized. So the entrance exam is where you want to focus your attention. The application's not hard, it's not scary. Just apply, we'll walk you through it. We want to get you to the entrance exam. So don't be scared about the application, but study for the entrance exam, because that you need to score high in order to get offered a place to enroll. So we give the entrance exam on April 6th for all non-EU students. It will be given online. And the reason we have 2 different ways of doing this is because that you will compete all non-EU citizens with just the non-EU citizens, because we have 50 places available for non-EU citizens, since our other medical programs taught in Italian cannot accept non-EU citizens. So this program in English was set up to get non-EU citizens into our campus and to give you an opportunity to study. So you will only compete with other non-EU citizens. Then anyone who holds an EU passport will compete with all of the people who have the EU passport. So since there's all this crazy stuff with COVID, unfortunately, we can't have everyone take the test in person, but we prefer that to do the test in person. So for the EU people, we will be holding the test at a designated test center as we used to do before COVID. For non-EU students, you will be able to take the test online. So you'll just need a secure internet connection. In order to do that, we will have a proctor. So everyone that's taking it online is going to do it on April 6th, and anyone who's taking it in person at a test center, and just know we do have a test center in Dubai. So we have them all over the world. You will be called to take the exam either April 6th or April 7th. We had to have 2 days so we can respect all of the social distancing regulations and fill those rooms. So once you take the entrance exam, then we make a list of the students based on their score. So whoever scores the best is going to be number 1, and then we keep going down from there, and we'll call the top 50 from non-EU and the top 30 from the EU. So that's why it's really important for you to study for the entrance exam, because that is really how you're going to be able to be given a chance to enter the program. So what is this entrance exam all about? It's going to be a computer-based test, and we're going to test your knowledge, scientific knowledge. We're going to ask you about biology, chemistry, math, physics, but we're also going to ask you some general knowledge and some logic-based reasoning. The psycho-attitudinal questions are the things I think you really want to study for, because I bet most of you are pretty good on your biology, chemistry, and math. What you really want to do is to check out the online simulator that we give to all of our applicants. So the earlier that you apply, the faster you'll get a chance to see what the test looks like, to feel what it it's like to take the test, and then to understand what the questions are. We also have some information on our website, and I think that the Gyanberry team sometimes helps, has some extra services that maybe Pranali can give you information about to prepare for the test, which is why they had those top 2 students that they mentioned earlier, because they do a really good job of helping us out with your application and getting you ready for this entrance exam. So it's 65 minutes, and the online simulator just kind of, it is just that, it simulates the test. So you're going to be, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, and the more comfortable you'll feel taking the test. So I'm going to go back to my other slide now, just to let you know, you want to make sure to apply by March 18th. But remember that if you apply earlier, you have more time to practice with the test simulator. You need to pay €160 for the application fee, and that's when the application is closed, submitted, and you'll get the online simulator usually within 2 to 3 days at most. We give the entrance exam on April 6th, and we will give you feedback by April 12th. This is something really important to keep in mind, because it means that we're giving you time to get a student visa. And unlike other universities in Italy, Cattolica only sends accepted students to the embassy. So this is something advantageous to you because it helps you with the visa process. We will give you a letter of admission that you take to the embassy with you, so they know you've been accepted. They know exactly what your tuition fees are going to be. They know what documents we need. We go through a process online to tell the embassy based on your high school if we need an English language test or not, if we need a dichiarazione di valore, which is the certificate that makes your foreign diploma valid in Italy, because for some high schools and courses, we won't need some documentation. So we're very strategic about helping you through the visa process, and it starts right with the entrance exam. Keep in mind that if your high school was not taught all in English, you will be asked to submit an English language certificate and let us know that you did actually have the requirements we are asked for. This is something that you will need when you're invited to enroll. So there are certain exams that we accept: TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge. You'll want to keep an eye on that and make sure that you can provide this documentation by the time that we invite you to enroll, which will start happening from April 12th on. So the entrance exam is really the most important thing for you to start taking a look at if you're interested in our program. To close, I just wanted to give you a few facts and figures about the university as a whole, because I think that it's also worth knowing that Universita Cattolica is the largest private university in Europe, I think, not just Italy. But why is it significant for you? As we mentioned before, that you will be studying on a campus that is dedicated to the study of medicine and healthcare. So you're going to be in a niche community based on your personal interests. But that doesn't mean that you're not part of a larger academic community, because Università Cattolica has 5 campuses all over Italy, and we teach over 12 different academic disciplines on the large scale, which means we have more than 40 English taught core programs and more than 200 Italian taught different degree courses that our students are taking. So 40,000 students overall population across our campuses, and that's almost 5,000, and I would say sometimes maybe even 5,000 depending on some of our exchange programs, international students that are present on all of our, taking courses in our university. So this means that you are connected not only across disciplines, not only across different professionals, different areas of interest, different research that our university is putting out, but you're also connected globally. This is something I think is really important, because I like to use the pandemic as an example, even though we're all tired of hearing about the pandemic, I'm sure, but when COVID hit, our institution really pulled together in order to figure out how to move forward. Because at Cattolica, we have leading economists, we have governing officials that are graduates of Cattolica. Our own professors were called by the Prime Minister to provide advice on how to maintain the community, how to avoid spreading the infection. One of our doctors, Riquelme, was actually asked to help understand how to manage the crisis. And another one of our professors was called in order to understand how to set up ICU units or the emergency care that was needed, because that we needed to care for so many patients, and all of the universities, all of the hospitals across Italy suddenly had to increase the number of ICU wards, intensive care units that they had available. And Cattolica was the first hospital to create a dedicated COVID center. There was one hospital that was dedicated entirely to treating COVID patients, but our hospital created its own COVID center, and we were the first one to do that. So our experts were called by the governing officials to come in and explain, okay, what is the best way to go about this, and how can we manage the pandemic? So you can see that the economists need to get involved, because we're having issues based on everything shutting down. The food production and agricultural area, we have students who are studying that. We have professors and professionals doing research in this area. They had to be involved, because we have to understand, how can we still produce food, export items without risking that we're spreading the virus? All of these different types of professionals need to get involved, not only actively, practically, to work together to ensure that, the healthcare systems are up and running, but also because that it's important to put research out there that's interdisciplinary or cross-disciplinary. And so I just wanted you to know that our community is very connected in this way. And we are very connected, 580, but more than that, because that we have a lot of research projects that aren't listed. These are our partner universities. So these are the people we're working with every day. We send students come to us, professors have relationships, but we always, always, always are involved in research projects within the EU or within other areas like Africa, the Western Balkans. There are so many projects that our professors on all of our campuses are involved in that are globally connected. So when you come to Cattolica, you're coming to Rome, you're coming to a nice community of people interested in what you're interested in studying and the experts in that field, but you're becoming a part of a larger network, both in Italy and all across the world. So if you have any questions, I think hopefully we still have a few minutes for questions. This is our contact information. So if you want, you can even scan the QR code and you'll be taken directly to our website. But I also wanted to put up the information about Gyanberry's study abroad services, because that I think that if you want, I'm going to tell you to come to Cattolica. I'm going to help you get into Cattolica, and I'm going to be the expert at telling you everything that's absolutely wonderful and fabulous about our university. But I know that you need to apply to other institutions too. So the people who are going to be the experts at helping you make the right choice that's for you and making sure that you have opportunities available, those are going to be the people at Gyanberry. So make sure that you get in touch with them if you have questions, and also to see what other services they can provide you through the application, test preparation, and visa processes.
No, thank you, Elizabeth, as well, and thank you, Araina. I mean, it was absolutely comfortable in terms of understanding and knowing and having more information from you guys. And I'm sure today students have also got their answers to their questions. If they have not, or they still have more questions, they can definitely come to Gyanberry, and we are here to guide them and give them all the information what they need. But thank you very much for all the students and parents who've attended today the webinar. And we look forward to hearing more. If you have any questions and doubts, or everything is clear and you want to go ahead for the application, please drop in at Gyanberry, and we are there to give you all the solution and do the application. So here I think, end the session today.
Thank you, Pranali.
Thank you
Gyanberry.
so much, Araina. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. And thank you, parents, and thank you,
Thank
students
you,
for
everyone.
joining
Thank
us today.
you.
Thank you.
Ciao a
Take care. Have a good
tutti,
evening.
as we say in Italy. Bye, guys. Thank you,
Bye.
Pranali. Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you,
much. Thank you.
Gyanberry.
Thank you. Bye.